Howdy, y'all. I'm Justin.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to Cowboys Like Us, the podcast where we talk about Taylor Swift and her music. Yeehaw. Hello, and welcome back to Cowboys Like Us, the only podcast dedicated to putting the yee back in your haw.
I feel like that should be our slogan, our motto,
Maybe it should.
our mission statement.
I accept that. I accept that. Today, we're talking about I Bet You Think About Me. Arguably Taylor's countryest song since debut, I think.
Yeah.
Would be fair to say.
Yeah, I think so.
But first, we've got some pod business to get to.
Business.
We had a couple comments today from the listeners that I want to highlight. Alan, on our YouTube video for Tis the Damn Season, said, quote, I love you guys. Thanks for putting these on YouTube. Hope many more discover your pod and how awesome you are. Thank you, Alan. Much love to you. I hope the same.
Bless up.
Yep. Blessings. Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
And then Mac commented on Spotify for our Evermore episode and said, hi, I've been having some phone issues, so I haven't been able to comment, but I've loved these episodes and have loved having so much of Pod Gremlin Madeline, but also missed Kim very much. Welcome back.
I'm still not convinced that Mac is not Madeline. Mac's not doing a good job at convincing us that they are not, in fact, the Pod Gremlin.
Yep, Madeline's alt.
I was gonna say, I don't want to run Alan off. Alan's new here. Well, maybe not super new, but new to commenting. But are we sure that Alan is not also yet another personality of the Pod Gremlin?
If so, this one is more subtle.
Yeah.
I believe he commented previously about audio on YouTube versus on Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that was the same.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Mac is a long-term plot by Madeline to become a full-time third host.
Well, yes, Madeline did a great job while I was out. Lily and Madeline will be on the pod.
Correct. But first, got poll results. Last Kiss, the people voted, and you gave it a 7 out of 10.
Hell yeah!
Way too high, bro.
Hell yeah.
What did you give it, Kimberly?
I gave it a 9, which I will admit is very high for the song that it is, but I love it.
Fair enough.
I love it. So I am in support of these rankings.
Okay. Well,
7's great. I love 7.
If you voted and you too like that rating, good on you. Keep voting.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that rating and you didn't vote,
maybe you should have voted.
Maybe you should have. Get in there.
What's really satisfying is that I did not vote in any of our polls. I didn't skew these results. These are pure results.
As they always are. We never do that. So let's get into some news. News from around the Taylorverse. First up, Scott Swift, father of Taylor, got into some hot water after a kerfuffle between himself and an Australian paparazzo. The photographer is suing Scott for allegedly punching him in the face for no reason. He was coming up to take a photo of Taylor, as celebrity photographers do, and Scott tagged him in the dome. That is his story. But Taylor's team tell it differently. They said, quote, 2 individuals were aggressively pushing their way toward Taylor, grabbing at her, security personnel, and threatening to throw a female staff member into the water, at which point Scott intervened and tagged him in the dome.
I was going to say, do they really tell it differently? Because they don't say Scott didn't punch the photographer. They just say there was a reason Scott punched the photographer.
Yes, it was in defense of Taylor and friends, according to Taylor.
Yeah.
But
Taylor's
according
team.
to the photographer, he was just doing his job, minding his own business, being a good guy, and he got punched right in the face. Who's to say?
All I know is that I don't really trust the paparazzi But also, everybody needs to keep their damn hands to themselves. Scott included.
Yeah, I say this knowing that it's ironic because I have a weekly Taylor Swift podcast where I talk about news about her.
Yeah.
Celebrity photographers, paparazzi who just creep around outside of people's places and get photos of them shouldn't exist. It shouldn't be a job we have in the world.
Yeah. We have too much news to talk about, Taylor.
We certainly
sometimes.
Certainly do.
And that is unfortunate for her personal life.
Speaking of, our next news story is courtesy of Shane Lynch, formerly of Irish boy band Boyzone. The Irish heads know, I guess.
Maybe.
We don't know here in America. But he had a interesting comment this week when he said that Taylor is performing satanic rituals during her Eras Tour performances. He said, quote, "I think when you're looking at a lot of the artists out there, a lot of other stage shows are satanic rituals live in front of 20,000 people without them realizing and recognizing. You'll see a lot of hoods up and masks on and fire ceremonies, even down to Taylor Swift, one of the biggest artists in the world. You watch one of her shows and she has 2 or 3 different demonic rituals to do with the pentagrams on the ground, to do with all sorts of stuff on her stage. But to a lot of people, it's just art, and that's how people are seeing it, unfortunately. And in the past, Mr. Lynch has denounced Beyonce, Sam Smith, and hip-hop as a entire genre as being satanic. So,
you know, I don't disagree that Taylor is doing satanic rituals. I'm kind of here for it.
Spicy take. Spicy take. I don't think Taylor's doing satanic rituals. And if
I'm kidding.
And, you know, settle down, Shane. Settle down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with him. Satanic rituals are just art. That's how people see it. It's art.
Adam Sandler had a much more positive thing to say about Taylor this week. He was interviewed by Conan O'Brien, and he said that Taylor Swift is the only celeb that still makes him nervous. And this is because his daughters, Sadie and Sonny, love Taylor Swift so much, and so he gets, quote, a little fucking jumpy around her, because he doesn't want to
screw it up for his daughters.
Yeah. So quality dadding there from Mr. Sandler.
That's cute.
And he also compared in that same interview Taylor to the Beatles and the massive levels of global domination they've achieved and impact on culture and all that. So
yeah, I think that's a pretty solid comparison.
Yep, he's not the first to do it, and he won't be the last.
Yep.
Speaking of positive things, some Chiefs coaches had some things to say about Taylor this week. Head coach Andy Reid, the human walrus himself, said, quote, "Kind of behind the scenes, she likes to cook. So she made the offensive lineman these homemade Pop-Tarts. So it was over. She knew right where to go. She didn't give me one, and the offensive lineman definitely didn't give me one. Since the queen has passed away, she might be the most famous woman in the world. She's so grounded for who she is. I think it's a great escape for her, where she can come to games. She sincerely enjoys the games."
Love Andy Reid. He's a good guy.
Yep.
Just such a granddad.
He's a former offensive lineman, so he's a large man and would have doubtless enjoyed some baked treats.
Some Pop-Tarts.
Yep, he didn't get any, sadly.
They do Coach Reid dirty.
Yep. Defensive backs coach Dave Merritt was on a sports podcast, and he said, quote, "Taylor actually affected the team in a positive way. Everyone was excited that Travis was happy, so when my player, my brother, is happy beside me, that helps me and that encourages me. Upon meeting her, I felt like she actually added to what it was that we were trying to do. Because there were so many people that were hating the fact that she was being shown on TV, that, you know what, you're part of our family because you're now with Travis, so therefore you're our little sister, or you're whatever it may be, you're part of the family."
Glad that everybody on the Chiefs is supportive of Taylor and Travis.
Indeed. Fandom. Am I right? It can be a bit much at times. And we saw that in Sydney. Taylor played Exile one evening, and a fan in the crowd could not handle it. As soon as she heard the first sort of chords there, she immediately screamed and collapsed onto her friend's lap, where she lay sobbing with her head in her hands for an extended period of time. She then put this on TikTok as a, my reaction video, right? People do it.
I was going to say, as many people have been doing.
Absolutely. Fan's name in question is Madison Blackburn, and the video got her in some trouble with some fun police out here. They had some serious backlash to it. Here's one example that I found to be sort of typical of the general vibe, which was, quote, "The mental illness isn't the crying, which is fake. It's the filming of the fake crying. The theatrics and narcissistic ownership of a song someone wrote without you in mind." Strong take. Madison was asked, how do you respond to the haters? And she said, "I literally agree it's funny. So dramatic. And I need to go to a psych ward like no shit. No normal person reacts to something like that. But why be so genuinely mean? The song has such a deep meaning to me, and I appreciate the story that is told through it. Many fans have been recording their reactions to hearing the acoustic section of the show, so we thought we would do the same."
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with what she did.
Have you seen the video in question?
I don't think so.
I have. It is a lot. It is a lot.
Swifties are nothing if not dramatic.
Yes, that's true. And I don't think being emotional is a problem.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't even necessarily think recording yourself having strong emotions and sharing it to the world is a bad thing either, because I think as a society, we make emotions out to be these bad things that we should have to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's healthy.
Yeah.
And so I don't have an issue with Madison's video at all, or her reaction, but it just, as the kids say, it was cringe.
Sure.
You posted cringe, Madison.
Sure.
It was hard to watch.
Here's the fun thing about the internet, to the person who commented on, or felt the need to comment on Madison's video. You have the ability to keep scrolling.
Yep.
If you see something and it makes you cringe and you don't want to see it anymore, move on.
That's true. This is a problem that's been around since the internet began.
Yeah.
You're not the sheriff of the internet. You don't get to decide what goes on around here, partner.
Exactly. And also, we've talked about this before on this podcast, but some people believe, and Taylor has said, that, once you put out art into the world, you no longer own it to an extent.
Right. But in a much more real sense, it still belongs to her and you have to pay her money.
That is true. But Taylor.
But in a metaphysical woo-woo sense, yes, it belongs to the world.
Yeah, exactly. Art is, in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
So anyway, to be like, the theatrics and narcissistic ownership of a song someone wrote without you in mind, Taylor has said that she wants people to connect to her music. So however they connect to that music is none of your beeswax.
Yeah, claiming that she was asserting narcissistic ownership by having emotions is just
problematic in itself.
Yeah, it's basically as over the top as the original video. So it matched that energy.
Yeah,
in reverse.
This comment is really bringing the same energy to the table.
Here's the thing, guys. This is where I will leave it for me.
Okay, I will say nothing.
Everybody is allowed to do and to feel what they want to do and feel, as long as it doesn't hurt nobody else.
That's true.
Posting cringe on TikTok doesn't hurt nobody.
Truly.
So just scroll on, baby.
Just scroll on.
Scroll on.
Every time you see something cringe, just hear us say, scroll on. Leave them alone.
Yep. Think of it, Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep scrolling, baby.
Also, coming from people who have a podcast, no one gives a shit what you think.
No.
No one gives a shit. Okay? So sometimes just let people do their thing and keep your mouth shut.
That's right. We could all use a little more positivity in the world. So, like my mom used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. At all.
Yep.
Do you have any other news you wanted to chat about before we get into the charts?
I don't think so.
Alright then. It's time for Chart Watch. Chart Watch.
That's what it should be.
Gotta record that drop.
Chart Watch.
On the Billboard Artist 100 chart.
Billboard Artist 100 chart.
On the Billboard Artist 100 chart, Taylor remained at number 1.
As she should.
Yep.
Number 1 always.
On the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart, Cruel Summer dropped 1 spot to number 7. And Is It Over Now stayed put at number 18. On the Billboard Top 200 Albums chart, 1989 TV stayed at 6, Lover stayed at 7, Midnight's dropped 1 to number 9, Folklore rose 1 spot to number 15, Rep is down 1 to number 21, Speak Now TV down 3 to number 29, Red TV up 2 spots to number 31, Evermore up 2 spots to number 34, Fearless TV down 2 spots to 58, and 1989 Stolen down 2 spots to number 65. On the right track with that again. Oh, and this reminds me, talking about the charts, Cruel Summer stayed in the top 10, and that was a big deal because it put Taylor clear of the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
For weeks with a top 10 single on the chart. She's all alone now at number 1.
Yep. Officially the top.
Yep. Pretty cool. And now it's time to visit that magic land, Kimberly's Clown Corner. Kimberly's Clown Corner.
So, welcome back, bitches.
How long has it been?
Just since our February 5th episode.
Almost a month, but not quite.
The one before the Super Bowl. That's the last time I did a Clown Corner. We didn't have a baby then. Well, the episode came out, we did, but when we recorded it, we didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, we are discussing I Bet You Think About Me today. I Bet You Think About Me has a very interesting music video. So, we're going to do a quick Clown Corner where we just kind of run through all the Easter eggs that were chopped into the video.
Cool. What's the video about?
Well, it's about a wedding.
There you go.
It's about a wedding. It gives overall big Speak Now vibes, which, looking back, was a big hint because it was the next re-record to come.
Bum, bum, bum.
Where there were also a lot of 1989 hints that made people think that it was the next one. So everybody was confused, but they were the next 2 to come. So
Yes, the double drop, much like now, was not confirmed back then.
All right, so for this, I had a little help from some sources, which were L.com, Reddit, r/Taylor Swift, Insider.com, and BuzzFuzz.com.
Buzz?
BuzzFuzz. BuzzFeed. BuzzFuzz.
I didn't know, man. Maybe BuzzFuzz was the new thing. You gotta get on there. BuzzFuzz.com.
If anybody is a fan of the Try Guys, they will know BuzzFuzz by the immediate
I see.
reference. Anyway, that's niche. So of the Taylor's versions that we have received, Red is the only one that has gotten music videos associated with it. Obviously, the All Too Well 10-minute version got a short film.
Right.
And I Bet You Think About Me got a Blake Lively directed video full of Easter eggs. This is the Easter eggiest video we've gotten since Look What You Made Me Do.
Yes. And then the Karma with Ice Spice video had Easter eggs.
That's true. But at the time, it was the Easter eggiest video.
I will allow it.
Yeah. I guess I should have rephrased my sentence. So, as mentioned, the video takes place at a wedding where the groom, played by Miles Teller,
Heard of him.
is presumably Taylor's ex, referenced in the song.
Mm-hmm.
The actual person the song is assumed to be about is Jake Gyllenhaal, as the rest of Red is.
Jake Dick and Balls.
Jake Dick and Balls. Fun fact, the bride in the video is Miles Teller's real-life wife, Kelly Teller, and Taylor's friend.
Yep. She's been at games with Taylor and walking around with Taylor and all that good stuff.
They hang out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Tellers are also really good friends with the Kelseys, Jason and Kylie.
There you go.
Taylor is in attendance at the wedding in this music video, wearing a red dress that is in contrast to the very white color scheme that is going on.
Am I correct in my understanding of folklore, of the ancient old-time wisdom, that if someone wears red, it means they bang the groom?
So I have my second bullet point following that. It says, some cultures see wearing red to a wedding as a sign that you've slept with the groom.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
It's also just kind of taboo, I guess, to wear such a bold color. especially when the rest of the wedding is completely white in color scheme.
I wore a red jacket to a friend of the pod, Christy's wedding.
Yep. In protest.
So some people may have assumed I boned Carter, but I did not.
You know, at that particular wedding, I don't know that anybody was very worried about you having boned Carter, but...
You don't think I could do it? You don't think I could land him? He's a jazz organist.
That's why I don't think you could land him. I think he's too good for you. Christy, tell Carter we love him. Okay, anyway. The red dress that Taylor is wearing, plus the gift box that she proceeds to give to the bride, were seen in the countdown to Red Taylor's version on Taylor's social media. So it was kind of Easter eggs before the Easter eggs. The box, the red box, contains the same red scarf as seen in the All Too Well short film.
Huh. I wonder if that has any significance to anything else. Probably not.
Taylor is also wearing a ring that says red on her middle finger. The same one that she's wearing in the cover of the album. And this ring is also similar in style to a ring she owns that says love, that she wore while writing Red, the album.
Right.
And that she gifted a copy of, like, you know, not the same exact ring, but a duplicate of, to Olivia Rodrigo.
Right.
Back when they were buds, and we haven't seen them interact since.
Well, Taylor and Sabrina are BFFs now.
Yep. She is also wearing a red heart ring in the video that belongs to Blake Lively, that Blake wore to SNL when I think Taylor was performing, and she also wore it with Taylor to a event at the Empire State Building, which we know the Empire State Building is in on a lot of shit that Taylor does, because they like to put up, you know, change their lights in honor of stuff she does before we even know what's happening. It's really rude. I don't like that a building is in on it.
Right.
There's a wedding cake at this wedding.
As there often is.
Yep.
At weddings.
It's a few tiers tall.
Mm-hmm.
It's decorated in both the red ring and the love ring designs around one of the tiers. And then the top tier is covered in number 13s and number 26s.
Interesting.
So
that Taylor's ex and his new bride would have such a Taylor-themed cake.
I know, right?
At their wedding.
A lot of people thought that because 26 was on the cake, the bottom tier has seagulls on it, as in reference to 1989. People thought that because Taylor was 26 when she wrote 1989, or when it came out, that it was the next one to come. But Taylor, I mean, that was wrong. But Taylor proceeds to destroy the cake in the music video. But before she grabs a chunk out of the cake and just helps herself,
right,
she takes 2 fingers and swipes through the icing, revealing the red cake underneath. But it's very specifically makes a equal sign on the cake. Taylor's friend Ed Sheeran has an album called Equals.
Has he run out of math signs yet?
He has done all but subtraction.
Oh, he hasn't done subtraction. He's got one in the chamber then.
He has addition, multiplication, divide, and equals.
Okay.
He's missing subtraction.
He's going to have to get creative after he does that.
Yeah. He also has other albums that are called other things, but...
Oh, does he?
They're like collab albums and stuff. Anyway, so she swipes the icing, it makes an equal sign. At this time, Ed's album Equals had already come out when this video came out.
Right.
But this was an Easter egg that Taylor was to be featured on his next single from the album, The Joker and the Queen.
Yep, heard it.
Yep. But that was not out at the time. So his album comes out in October. This music video comes out in November. In February, they release the single. So it was a hint that that was to come.
Gotcha.
The other thing is that destroying cake is not unfamiliar to Taylor. She did this in both the Blank Space music video and the You Need to Calm Down music video, where she just takes a hunk of cake and goes to town.
Why does Taylor not eat cake normally?
I have no idea.
Does she do it in real life? I'd like to see her eat a cake in real life
I
so
know.
we have confirmation.
Does she not know
Does
how
she
to
just
use
think
forks?
that's how you do it?
Maybe she doesn't know how to use forks.
You guys are suckers. I can eat so much more cake this way.
God gave me these forks attached to the end of my arm. So Taylor is also at this wedding, seated at the kids' table, which we know many times she references in her music how Jake didn't really see her as an adult.
Right. Treated her like a child.
Yep. And just kind of how the music industry in general treats her like a child.
Right.
Everybody treats her like a child. But anyway, she's at the kids' table where she pulls a rabbit out of a top hat that looks very similar to the top hat that she wore on I think it's the Fearless tour. Anyway, that she wears for You Belong With Me, where she wears the sparkly red ringmaster's outfit.
Right.
The head clown of them all. Anyway, she pulls a rabbit out of the hat. She proceeds to hide behind the hat at one point, and she also acts like a walrus with straws in her mouth.
Foreshadowing. Andy Reid.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Didn't even think of that. But along with pulling the rabbit out of the hat, the wedding is decorated with red and white roses. Plus, at the end of the video, everything that was white turns red, all seen as references to Alice in Wonderland. Wonderland being a 1989 song.
Right. And
Alice in Wonderland is referenced in the All Too Well film. There was also a fan theory that before 1989 came out that it was going to be called Roses. So all of these things tied together.
Right.
With a string. An invisible string. What am I saying? Taylor goes on to dance with the groom in the music video.
Bold choice.
The lighting on the dance floor changes to blue.
1989.
Or losing him was blue like I've never known. Lyrical reference. Mostly because she drops the groom's hand and walks away from him. Maybe referencing drop your hand while dancing. Left you out there standing. Crestfallen on the landing. Champagne problems. She walks away from him and she's wearing a wedding dress and red sneakers. White dress, red sneakers.
Interesting.
People think referencing he never liked when I wore high heels. The line in Begin Again. That was definitely about Jake.
Also,
Short King.
She wears high heels, I wear sneakers.
There you go. Yep.
You belong.
That one too.
With me. Be me.
Then the lighting changes to gray. Missing him was dark gray all along. All alone. I don't know what I said. So those are just some fun little lyrical references in one scene. She hits a lot of them. Then at the end of the video, Taylor goes on to play with the band, the wedding band, and Aaron Dessner cameos as one of the members of the band. Ooh. He was a producer on this song, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And then at the very, very end, in the credits of the music video, Taylor references Starlight by saying, "And to all of our families who supported us as we dream impossible things." So much like all Taylor Swift music videos, each watch through, there are new things to spot. So I probably didn't hit every single Easter egg that is in this music video, but that's the majority.
Very cool. Just a quick aside, little teaser for the people out there.
Yeah.
Whenever the Starlight episode comes, your boy's gonna ride hard for it because it's a forgotten gem in Taylor's discography.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure that everyone knows.
Yeah, it's got a fun little backstory.
It's a fun little song.
Fun little song.
We'll get there.
We will get there, but that's the I Bet You Think About Me music video, full of Easter eggs. That's some fun that Taylor does for us clowns. Obviously, this is looking in retrospect at all of these things. We didn't know a lot of this information at the time, so it was a little more fun right when it came out. But now looking at it being like, oh, this didn't come true, this was clownery at the time, but it panned out to be nothing, or, you know, the Ed Sheeran nod did become something. And the overall theme of the music video, Very Speak Now, did point at it being the next re-record.
There you go. There was a lot to see, a lot to interpret, and some was interpreted correctly and others were not, as is always the case.
All of this to say, anytime Taylor puts out a music video, keep your eyes peeled, because she does crazy things.
Yep, the circus is always in town.
That's true.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. And now, it's time to get into our Song of the Week, which is I Bet You Think About Me. It's originally released as a vault track on Red Taylor's version, and it features a guest appearance by country musician Chris Stapleton. He really just does backing vocals or co-lead at points. Never has his own verse or anything like that. It was written by Taylor Swift and Lori McKenna. McKenna is an American folk, Americana, and country singer-songwriter. She's got 2 Grammy Awards for songwriting. Girl Crush by Little Big Town.
Heard of it.
And Humble and Kind by Timothy McGraw.
Also heard of it.
Yep. Both, well, they're very different songs, but both of artistic merit.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Little Big Town from Alabama.
Woohoo! Aren't we from a little big town in a way? You know? Maybe the little big town was the friends we made along the way. Have you ever thought about that? Makes you think. Produced by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. As Kimberly said, she was right. And it charted at number 22 on the Hot 100 and number 3 on the Hot Country Songs chart.
Yeah, this is the one that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a country song, that's for sure. And then it was certified gold in Australia. What has Taylor said about this song?
See if I can do it this time. I Bet You Think About Me is a song I wrote with Lori McKenna, who is one of my favorite singer-songwriters ever. I'd always wanted to work with her, and I wrote this with her at her house when I was playing Foxborough Stadium on the Speak Now tour in June 2011. We wanted this song to be like a comedic, tongue-in-cheek, funny, not caring what anyone thinks about you sort of breakup song, because there are a lot of different types of heartbreak songs on Red. Some of them are very sincere, some of them are very stoic and heartbreaking and sad. We wanted this to be the moment where I was like, I don't care about anything. And we wanted it to be sort of a drinking song. And I think that's what it ended up being.
Okay. Now let's move on to the critical reception. Do the critics enjoy I Bet You Think About Me?
Variety said, what would it sound like if Betty met Garth Brooks's Friends in Low Places? Now we know. 5 out of 5.
Billboard called it a well-crafted takedown of an upper-crust ex-lover.
Billboard also said, a freewheeling and lushly produced jam.
Shout out to Aaron Dessner, lushly producing it.
Lush Aaron Dessner.
USA Today said, Stapleton's whiskey-hued vocals are the beautiful sandpaper to Swift's sleek voice. The tune should be remembered for some of Swift's snarkiest lyrics.
Time called it a masterpiece dedicated to moving on.
And Uprocks called it one of her best drinking songs.
Does she have more than this one?
I was gonna say, I can't think of any. But good that they got what she was putting down, I guess.
Yeah.
And it received a Grammy nomination for Best Country Song. It did not win, but it was nominated.
Nice.
What about the fans? Do the fans like this song?
Rob Sheffield.
Big Boy Rob?
Ranked at number 82 of 243 songs.
Top 100.
He said, this rowdy, hell-raising saloon sing-along about a rich ex is a delightful honky-tonk jam. The kind of straight-up Nashville vibe she was about to leave behind. In the classic Friends in Low Places country tradition, she taunts him for his organic shoes and cool indie music concerts, which in 2012 meant he was into the National and Bon Iver. That's hilarious.
Sweet irony. On r/Taylor Swift, on their Red TV Survivor, they rated it the 10th best of 29 songs on Red Taylor's version.
That's interesting. Oh, it seems like everyone really likes this song.
A little high for me. Maybe.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Let's get into some lyrics, shall we?
Some lyrics.
Verse number 1. 3 a.m. and I'm still awake. I'll bet you're just fine. Fast asleep in your city that's better than mine. And the girl in your bed has a fine pedigree. I'll bet your friends tell you she's better than me. So, construction of the opening line immediately makes me think of Breathe 2 a.m., a song by Anna Nolik from my youth, which is a great song. Much better, in my humble opinion, than this song. And I advise you to go listen to it.
Yes. If you're a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha listening to this and you have never heard that song, go listen to it right now.
Yep, you'll be glad you did. The sarcasm is thick as fuck right from the jump. And it's gonna stay. Spoilers. City that's better than mine. Record that's much cooler than mine. Same. Same Mr. Dick and Balls. And then Fine pedigree is quite a choice, quite a line.
Yep.
You know, well-bred. Pedigree, when used like that, is commonly used for fancy show dogs. And what is the term? The business professional term for a female dog? A bitch. So that's a solid dog show burn.
I mean, it is a good burn. It's a good burn.
Yep. It's the thinking man's.
Like not only calling the girl a bitch, but also calling his girlfriend a dog. You know what I mean? Like,
she a dog.
She a dog.
Yep. And leaving yourself just a smidge of deniability.
Yep. I didn't say that.
She's from a good family. That's all I meant.
I just meant she's well off.
Yep. Verse number 2. Well, I tried to fit in with your upper crust circles. Yeah, they let me sit in back when we were in love. Oh, they sit around talking about the meaning of life and the book that just saved them that I hadn't heard of. Taylor guesses that she was wrong and she just don't belong. But hey, she's been there before. Everyone correctly compares this song to Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks. And the shoe fits. So I too have compared it. Speaking of comparisons, if one was being uncharitable, one could construe this verse as a Taylor comparing herself to Rosa Parks.
I don't think that's what she meant.
I don't think it was conscious. But, you know, Taylor felt like they put her on the back of the bus, you know?
Yeah, I do think Taylor feels as though she was pushed out of the inner circle. But I don't think she was thinking about specifically the civil rights movement.
I hope not, because settle down, honky. Like, it's fine.
Oh, Lord.
And then, pseudo-philosophers, the worst human beings on planet Earth. Smoking one joint doesn't make you Aristotle, bro. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
As someone with an English degree, the last line hits me where I live at. There was this one dude in my Victorian lit class that I still think about all the time because I hated him that much. Every lecture he saw as an opportunity to monologue at us all about the deep insights he'd gleaned from whatever we'd read that week. And it was so obnoxious and over the top, and I kind of hope he's dead now. He's probably not, because he's my age, and so he'd be 30s. But I hope he's dead.
Jake Gyllenhaal strikes me as the type of person who would take a Victorian lit class just for funsies.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He would. And he would have some thoughts.
Yeah. He would have some hard opinions.
Some big takes. Chorus number 1. But now that we're done and it's over, I bet you couldn't believe when you realized I'm harder to forget than I was to leave. And I bet you think about me. Harder to forget than I was to leave really sums up exes, man. Much as you hate it, they linger in the back corners of your mind for a long time. Just lurking back there. Like a time bomb. Waiting for you to step on it. Or a landmine, right?
Yep.
And it can be triggered by the littlest things. And then you're mad and all over again.
Yep.
It's right back there. Verse number 3. You grew up in a silver spoon gated community. Glamorous, shiny, bright Beverly Hills. I was raised on a farm. No, it wasn't a mansion. Just living room dancing and kitchen table bills. So her ex is an overprivileged man-child, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about his background other than what Taylor asserts in this song, so I assume she's right.
Yeah, I can't for sure say he's a Nepo baby. Both him and his sister are actors.
Right.
I don't remember if their parents are just show parents or if they're like, they come from money and... I mean, they come from money. I do know that much. But I don't remember if they're like celebrity status or not. But he gives off big Nepo baby vibes even if he isn't.
He does, but I can't really speak to that. But I can speak to Taylor's background a little bit. Here in this song, she's sort of claiming that she's the everyman.
Yep.
You know, Jake is this privileged, wealthy, upper crust boy, and she's just the girl from the farm, you know?
Just from a little place in Pennsylvania, you know?
That's right. The farm, as we know from our Christmas episode, was a Christmas tree farm, which objectively is the least farmy type of farm. Mm-hmm. Big suburbia energy, the Christmas tree farm. Out on actual farms, they go out into the woods and cut down their own Christmas tree. They don't get them off a farm. But it still counts. It's in the name. Mm-hmm. Christmas tree farm.
Yep.
Right? Taylor grew up in a house on the property there, which was over 3,500 square feet. And it sold back in 2022 for $800,000. So I guess it depends on what your definition of mansion is. It is basically twice the size of the house I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
And 4
Yeah.
times as expensive, more, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
It is over double the size of the house that we're sitting in right now.
oh yeah,
And
for sure.
about 8 times as expensive.
Yeah, so she was definitely, at worst, upper middle class, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Her dad, okay, first of all, her father, Scott Swift, was a stockbroker.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the job of an average man. I'm so sorry to break it to you. If your father is a stockbroker, you are upper middle class.
Yeah.
You're only slightly below the man you're complaining about.
Yeah, Dad wasn't worried about having to move this many Douglas firs every year, you know. Otherwise,
Exactly.
we're going under. We're going to lose the farm.
Yeah, he wasn't out there sweating. The Christmas tree farm was a fun little bonus thing that y'all did in on the holiday season.
Right.
Like, your dad was a stockbroker, and I don't know what your mom did. I think she might have just been a stay-at-home mom, but still.
Yes. So Taylor is at minimum misrepresenting herself in this verse.
Just a little bit.
Presumably, she's also exaggerating Jake Gyllenhaal to make the contrast a little bit more
Yeah.
enticing.
Yeah, but, you know, I do think he grew up, you know, pretty close to the 1%.
Sure.
But you also have to be a little more well off than the average person for your parents to just drop everything, scoop up you and your brother, and move to Nashville for your music career when you are 14 or whatever, 12, 13 when she moved.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
You gotta have some money to do that.
So I think it's clear then that Taylor is misrepresenting her background. So the question then has to be why? Is it just to make the song more compelling, to relate better to the audience?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Okay.
I think it's her trying to relate to the audience more, to the average man. But I think it also just is, in part, the way that she sees herself.
I was going to say...
As normal, grounded, not as highfalutin as people around her.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it reminds me a bit of the Person of the Year interview that she gave to Time Magazine, where she talked about how 2016 was the darkest time of her life, and her career was nearly taken from her and stuff, and she was still selling out arenas and everything around the world. It's like,
right.
Was it though?
Right.
Was it that bad? I think part of Taylor's self-mythology that she's created for herself is that she's an underdog, a perpetual underdog who's always striving against the system, but she is, based on what we've talked about just now, she's always been an overdog.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she's succeeding as could have been reasonably expected. Although she's gone way above where she could have expected to go, but still, you know what I mean?
But that is also on...
She didn't come from the streets with nothing, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's also on being self-critical and mental illness. Anxiety and depression makes you think, you know, like, oh, I'm struggling. This is awful. This is the worst thing to ever happen to me. I'm going to lose everything. And then the reality is it was never in jeopardy for her.
Yep, you were fine. Strivers gotta strive, I guess.
Yep.
You know? Verse number 4. But you know what they say, you can't help who you fall for, and you and I fell like an early spring snow. But reality crept in, you said we're too different, you laughed at my dreams, rolled your eyes at my jokes. So I don't know enough about snow, to be sure, because I'm from Alabama and it doesn't snow. But I assume this means it was doomed from the start, right? Snow falls in early spring, then it quickly melts away because that's what spring does. It warms everything up.
Yeah.
Right? But were they, though? Were they doomed from the start? Were they really that different? Not as much different as Taylor would have us believe. I don't know that I buy the star-crossed lovers thing Taylor's trying to sell me. If anything, what doomed it was their age difference and where they were in their lives. But not a class divide so much.
Yeah, when you take all of the songs, including this one, that she's ever written about Jake and their relationship, it's very obvious that the relationship was one-sided. Like, it was a relationship to her, and he was just having a good time with someone who was far too young for him.
Right.
She was entertainment for him, and that was it. And I know he's never really said anything about the relationship, and we don't get songs from his perspective or anything like that. But it really doesn't feel like he was in it at all. It was her being a little too naive to acknowledge that maybe she was the only one interested in the relationship.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about with Taylor as a person and how she sees the world, right? She romanticizes things. She catastrophizes things. Everything that happens to her is the biggest deal that's happened to anyone. That's how things are.
Right. But that is every 21-year-old I've ever met.
It's true.
Especially women, it seems. I can only speak from the woman's point of view. But at 21, even the worst relationships, they mean so much to you. But then when you're 28, 34, whatever, looking back on them, you're like, man, I was the only one participating in that relationship, huh?
Yeah. Speaking from the male perspective, it's similar. The just level of vitriol that you're able to feel as an adolescent and young adult, looking back now as an actual adult, it's like, who's got that kind of energy, bro, to just feel that strongly about anything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fine. She broke up with you. It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chorus number 2. Mr. Superior thinking, do you have all the space that you need? I don't have to be your shrink to know that you'll never be happy, and I bet you think about me. He thinks he's better than everyone, especially Taylor, right? And it makes me think of, hadn't seen each other in a month, then you said you needed space. What?
Yeah.
From, we are never ever getting back together.
Yeah.
Just another point in the, it's definitely about Jake Gyllenhaal thing, if anyone had any questions.
Yes. I like this chorus. I do like that it nods back to we are never getting back together. But I, as someone who perpetually likes, or liked, I guess I'm not currently dating, but in my youth, liked to date men that were much older than me. I relate to this chorus in particular. Older men like, I'm not you, but in my experience, older men like to date younger women because then they seem smart.
It's true. Some of us human beings, I don't even think it's just a men thing, just human beings, but also men.
Again, yeah, I'm just talking from my experience in comparison to Taylor's experience of it being older man, younger lady.
Some of us have experiences in our lives that make us feel sort of like we aren't good enough or smart enough or whatever enough. And so if we can find someone who makes us feel that way, that we are in fact good enough and smart enough, that's a very appealing dynamic.
Yeah.
That feeds our ego in a good way.
Yes. I feel like you and I have that, right? Like, we make each other feel like we are enough. We are smart enough. We are good enough. We are enough in general. Yeah, I think that Jake is like a bunch of the other guys that I dated in my youth, where they overcompensate and strive so incredibly hard to make you feel stupid.
Right.
Because it makes them feel smarter. And they have to flaunt how quote-unquote smart they are.
Yes. And they're probably not that smart if they have to tell you how smart they are.
They're not. But at the time, you're like, oh, he's so smart. Oh my gosh, he's so much older. He's so cool.
He likes French films.
He tells me how stupid I am all the time.
He's got a record player.
He makes me feel like a child, and it's so cute.
Under the bridge so we can get out of here. Although we can't, because there's so much more. This song is really long, spoilers. That's going to factor in my thoughts and rating. Bridge, oh, block it all out. The voice is so loud saying, why did you let her go? Does it make you feel sad? The love that you're looking for is the love that you had. Presumably, the voices are in his head, but maybe not. If you date Taylor, you're going to have voices talking to you and at you all over the world forever.
Yep.
Till you die.
Can never turn on the radio again.
Yep. So, hard to say. But the question is definitely one I've thought about my exes. Do they ever actually have the realization that, damn, he was what I was looking for, and I had it, and I gave it away? I don't think so. I don't think they ever see it that way.
Well, I mean, do we feel that way about any of our exes?
Hell no.
Exactly. So, I think it's totally fine.
I think so too. But when you're recently out of a not so
Yeah,
amicable breakup.
immediately out of it, yeah.
That's definitely a thing you wish would happen.
Yeah.
So that you could tell them to go to hell when they want you back or whatever. Verse 5. There are 5 verses in this song, you guys.
Yeah.
It's at least 2 too many. Now you're out in the world, searching for your soul, scared not to be hip, scared to get old, chasing make-believe status. Last time you felt free was when none of that shit mattered, because you were with me.
Scared not to be hip, scared to get old is so fucking real.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've got a kid now, and I was just thinking the other day and having a little mental breakdown about how he's going to be cool and, hip with the kids and think I'm just the lamest asshole that's ever been alive. And it's going to be hard.
I know. I think you and I are going to handle it well, though. I think we're going to play really hard into it. And he's going to hate it. He's going to be like, stop being so cringe, or whatever the word is for it when he gets to that point.
I don't think I've told it on the pod, but I'm pretty sure I've told you this story. My first day of high school, I'm a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And
as most first day of high schoolers are.
Yep. And I went over to my friend Garrett's house.
Yes.
Before school, so that we could go together,
mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't be alone
right.
in the big jungle.
Right.
We pull into the parking lot, and his father rolls down all the windows, front windows, back windows, every window that can roll down,
mm-hmm.
and he turns on, as loud as it can go, Shake Your Booty by KC and the Sunshine Band.
Hell yeah.
And that is how we made our entrance into high school. And I think about it all the time.
It's pretty baller, to be honest.
Yeah. And so that's the kind of energy we're going to bring to parenting, I assume.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm going to figure out what he hates, like when he gets older. What he's like, oh, gross. Y'all listen to One Direction or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Who is Taylor Swift anyway? Ew.
Exactly. Maybe it's Taylor Swift. Maybe he's going to hate Taylor Swift. Who's to say? But I will for sure be blasting that shit when I go to pick him up from school or drop him off or whatever, or when his friends are in the car with us. I'm just here to make his life as cringy as possible, because I feel like it makes for good memes. Maybe one day he'll be like you, telling that story on a podcast. Garrett's dad really did y'all a favor.
Yeah, I mean, it was super embarrassing, but
he made an impression.
It's pretty epic, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty epic tale.
Now, as a dad, you respect it.
Yeah. Midlife crisis, because Jake Gyllenhaal is a dirty old man, and he knew that on some level.
Yep.
Dating a younger person probably made him feel younger and relevant in the cultural space.
Yep.
Chasing status is so high school. We were just talking about high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that put my status at a negative from day one. I had to climb out of that hole.
Did it really, though? Like,
No.
Did anybody actually pay attention to
Nobody
what was
really
happening?
knew who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, chasing status, so high school. Is that what being a celebrity is? That high school just continues until you die? It seems like it, because they have gossip about celebrities all the time. And I don't want it, if that's what it is.
As a person in just like a professional workspace, everyone is perpetually in high school, is what I've learned. And I absolutely hate it. I left that thing for a reason. I just don't ever want to go back.
Yeah, me neither. Chorus number 3. There are 3 different choruses in the song. One could argue it defeats the purpose of a chorus at all if you have different ones.
Yep.
But now that we're done and it's over, I bet it's hard to believe, but it turned out I'm harder to forget than I was to leave, and yeah, I bet you think about me. So basically this one is the same as chorus 1, except the tense is a little bit different, so it seems like time has passed in the world of the song, right? And yet, despite the time passing, Jake still probably thinks about Taylor in her estimation.
I will say the difference of Taylor versus us as the average Joe is that I do think that Jake Gyllenhaal thinks about Taylor, because I think it is absolutely impossible for him to escape her and the talk of their relationship. Everywhere he turns around, people are still talking about them.
Yeah, he'd have to retreat to a remote cabin in the woods with no internet or TV or anything. Just him and some books. And then maybe he wouldn't think about it for a little bit. Outro. I bet you think about me when you're out at your cool indie music concerts every week. I bet you think about me in your house with your organic shoes and your $1 million couch. I bet you think about me when you say, oh my God, she's insane. She wrote a song about me. I bet you think about me. So damn, this dude just sounds like the worst. I do want to try the $1 Million Couch though. If there is a $1 Million Couch, I don't need to own it. I just want to sit on it.
I bet it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
I have to think so.
I bet it feels like
it's a couch.
A shit couch. You just paid too much money for it.
Yeah, like Schmidt's fancy chair.
Yeah.
The Hoverman.
Yep.
Is it comfortable? No, it's a Hoverman. But yeah, I want to put my butt on it and know how it feels.
Yep.
But I never will.
I would also just like to put my butt on $1 million.
And Mr. Gyllenhaal, I hate to break it to you,
yeah,
but she wrote several songs about you, guy, and they are all ice cold and make you look like a straight up bitch.
Yeah.
So sorry to tell you that.
Yeah. Honestly, everything I've ever needed to know about Jake Gyllenhaal comes straight out of Taylor Swift songs, and it is that he is a big old man child, like you said, and not my vibe.
Yep. Let's get into our overall thoughts on this song.
So this song is a little bit too twangy for my taste.
Too twangy? Mm-hmm.
A little too twangy.
Got a little too much twang.
A little too much twang for someone from Alabama, but I'm not the average Alabamian, so.
Sure.
It's not the worst, though. I like the lyrics. As always, my favorite part is what I thought was the bridge, but I guess it's the outro. I catch myself singing it all the time, completely randomly, without even having heard the song. It's, in particular, the I bet you think about me when you say, oh my god, she's insane, she wrote a song about me.
Right.
That line just kind of repeats over and over and over in my head. I have no real opinions on Chris Stapleton, to be honest. And he was done kind of dirty in this song. Because, I mean, I guess not really, but he's not featured in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he got Lana Del Rey.
He got Lana Del Rey. So where is the I Bet You Think About Me more Chris Stapleton version?
Yeah. Let's put a 7th verse in there. Let him sing that one.
Or let him sing one of the ones that already exist.
That's the craziest part. There's 5 verses in this song, and none of them are his.
None of them are his.
She didn't give him any. So,
as much as I don't have real opinions on him, I feel like I would have liked the opportunity to see whether or not he made the song better. Yep. Or worse. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to have seen it. Alright, for me, when Chris Stapleton first came out, the country music press was a buzz. You know, this guy, he's not like your Florida Georgia Lines and your Luke Bryants.
Right.
That bro country nonsense. He's old school, man. He's taking it back to the roots. And I was like, hell yeah, bro. I'm gonna be a fan of this dude. Because that way, I can feel superior to my brother and people like him who listen to modern country. So I can be a pretentious twat like Mr. Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
Right? But I can't get into him. I just can't. I don't know. It's too authentic for me, I guess.
It's too authentic. Yep. Okay.
As much as I'd like to, I can't be that authentic. I am a poser. So, this is a true fact right here for the people. I grew up on a street called Poser Drive. That is a real, true fact.
That's hilarious.
It was named after a man. His name was Mr. Poser.
Yeah.
You know, he owned all that land out there.
But it's come full circle that you lived on that street because you are, in fact, a poser.
Yeah, it's not spelled the same. It doesn't have the U in it, like
right.
Posia or whatever like it's supposed to be. But, yeah, people would steal our sign. You know, kids would steal it because they thought it was funny.
That is funny.
It is funny.
So then, what is your perfect medium for country music? What's your preferred? Is it like Tim McGraw?
No, I like for country music. I would say I like Casey Musgraves early work. That's more country. That's kind of where I like to be.
That's your mix between old school and modern.
Probably her countryest, most authentic country record she made was Pageant Material. Yeah, which I really like a lot. Yeah, that's about where I want to be. It's about where I want to be. Or if old school. I like Dolly Parton. Who doesn't? National Treasure.
If you say you don't, you're lying to yourself.
Right. I did like some of Tim McGraw's singles because I heard them on the radio back in the day.
Right. You know? That's what I was thinking. Are you looking for that 90s country, early 2000s country, or are you going 50s country?
I really can't. There's some songs I like. My dad is a big fan of Waylon Jennings. He likes a few of them old country singers. Yeah. And some of them he'll play at out in his barn out there.
Yeah.
While we're out there, and I kind of like them. But I don't know. I don't go seeking it out. I'm just not. I ain't country enough, you know.
Right.
I'm all hat and no cattle, as
Right.
they say.
Absolutely.
But I wish Mr. Stapleton well. Do your thing, baby. But it just doesn't do it for me. But yeah, like you said, he got Lana Del Rey bad on this song, and it seems messed up. Why even bring the man out if you're gonna do him like that?
Yeah.
I listened to this song a few times a week or so that Red TV came out, right? Because I would do full album listens.
Right.
And this song just never stuck with me. So once I got through my stage of listening to the whole album, I would skip this song every time. It was an automatic. Just don't even think about it. Yep, skip.
Yeah.
And having listened again this week in preparation for this episode, I don't feel like I've missed out on that big gap where I wasn't listening to it. I was like, good choice, me. So
I will say one more thing that I like is that the song kind of has a cold open in a way. Like there's not a whole lot of build up before it starts.
that's true. It kind of just jumps right in.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. I do like the lyrics overall in isolation. Just as the lyrics, I think they're cool. I don't think the melody is super strong.
Yeah.
And I don't think all of the lyrics fit super clean into where the melody's supposed to be.
Right.
And so that just annoys me a little bit every time I listen to the song.
But when you walk through it like we did,
Yeah, reading
it's
them
like,
out. It's
damn,
pretty-
like she really getting him, like, ooh, bird.
Yeah, it's like a slam poem,
Yeah.
which is cool. But
Then when you hear the song, you're just like,
it doesn't
good.
really work.
Yeah, I'm
It doesn't
good.
really work. Yeah. So,
Heyo, Pod Gremlin Maybe here with our new friend of the pod, Lily. Brr, brr, brr.
Hi, happy to be here.
Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely.
Lily, you're gonna have to tell the listeners, who are you?
Who am I? That's such a loaded question. I'm Lily, first and foremost. I am a Swiftie, and I've just been kicking it, just been doing me. I am a music lover. I've loved music my whole life. And yeah, that really makes up a lot of my personality is music and who I am.
Hard same. You say you're a Swiftie, so how long has that been? What era did you come in on?
Oh, I've been a Swiftie for a minute. I've been a fan since 2009 with the Fearless Tour.
Nice.
I went and saw the Fearless Tour. I was in first grade. I was young.
Did you see it in Birmingham?
I did, yeah.
Nice. Where did she play?
She played at the BJCC
Nice.
in Birmingham,
Bet she sold out.
and it was the best. I've been with her through all the different eras, and so when the Eras Tour came around, it was such a nostalgic feeling for me.
That's awesome. I love the Fearless set in the Eras Tour. I'm excited to have that on streaming. So what do you listen to that's not Taylor Swift? Just to give our listeners some context, me
Absolutely.
and Kim and Justin all listen to completely different things. So
Well, my
add
music
yours.
my music genre is definitely all over the place. Definitely a few big artists of mine that I listen to besides Taylor would be, 21 Pilots or Cage the Elephant, Arctic Monkeys.
Nice.
More of an alternative rock, per se, is more of my genre.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw Cage the Elephant in Birmingham with their self-titled when Ain't No Rest for the Wicked came out.
I saw them in 2018 when they came with Beck.
Nice. They were with a weird band when I saw them. I cannot remember. I feel like it had Brunch in the title of it, but I never heard of them. And they took fake ficuses and passed them around in the crowd while they were singing.
That's
And then
awesome.
Cage the Elephant came on, and it was in 2010.
So their energy is
It's been a
incredible.
minute. Yeah, they're pretty cool. But that's awesome. We are here for a wildly different song. We are here to discuss the song of the week. I Bet You Think About Me. Taylor's version, of course. Released on Red, Taylor's version. This one was released in this nice clean version that we have now. It was released in 2021, so it's still pretty young.
That's awesome. I love this song.
Yeah, absolutely. Was it one that you really clung onto when it first dropped, or is it one that you've come onto later as the album has aged?
Definitely when the album aged, Taylor's version brought back a lot of the songs off of the album that I forgot about.
Yeah.
And her having it with Chris Stapleton and kind of bringing back that country vibe that she kind of strayed from and went into other genres. She kind of went back to that country vibe, and I fell in love with it because it reminded me a lot of the Taylor that I was introduced to.
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably the most country song on that album. We've mentioned on the podcast before that Taylor really got to like a more alternative feel with, certainly in Speak Now, just that third album. You get into songs like Haunted, where she starts to get into that heavier thing. And then in Red, she almost starts to dabble into the pop, but she also has like some like alternative rock / like classic rock vibes with like State of Grace.
Yeah.
But it's such a long album. Where does this song stand on the album for you? If you had to rank all of them.
Well, I think I would probably have to put it at number 3.
Really
Number 3
nice.
for me.
Absolutely. What's it lose to?
Oh, my first 2?
Yeah. If you feel like sharing. You don't have to do 1 and 2. If they tie for 1 and 2, that's fine.
Well, the All Too Well 10-minute version stole the show. It stole my heart. It broke the internet.
It breaks my heart every time I listen to it. I listen to it at least once a week. It's a good song.
You have to. I feel like, it's a good song to listen to in a car when you're having to release a lot of anger. It's a good song to unleash a lot of emotions to. That's probably my first one. And the second one would probably have to be, I like Red.
Nice.
I like
yeah,
Red.
absolutely. Taylor recently said that that's one of her favorites.
I like that one a lot. I had that one on my MP3 player back in 2016, 2015.
Back in the day, rocking the MP3 player.
Oh, yeah. I had all of her albums from then.
No, that's awesome. And I mean, Red, Taylor's version is... Red was already a good album. It came out my senior year of high school.
Wow.
So I was leaving the high school listening to that album with a friend of the pod, Amber. She's been on down the road.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, listeners of the pod, Lily, much like Amber, is just somebody that I found on the street. So, local
But I
good
needed
ones.
a ride. So bad.
Just pick them up where you find them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I Bet You Think About Me. It's got a incredible music video that Kim actually breaks down in her segment of this episode. I think it's going to be before we come on. But the video is incredible. Symbolism and Easter eggs everywhere. But what do you think about it?
It's fascinating. I've never seen the music video.
What? We're going to have to watch it and get a reaction.
I feel like
before
I'm
the end of
definitely going to have to
this.
get a reaction from that. Because I've seen
Absolutely.
a lot of her music videos, and they're always top notch, and so I'm really shocked I haven't seen this one.
What? Let's take... You know what? We have the internet right
We do have
here.
the internet right
Let's watch. We'll be right back, Justin. Brr. I need to chime in here. We are 7 seconds deep into this. 7 seconds deep into this music video, and Lily is already naming who these people are, and listeners of the pod will know that I don't know any actors ever, so I guess she's right. I'm not going to check her.
And I know all of them.
I'm not going to check her. It's not happening. Continue.
Just like...
Yeah.
That was so awesome. Oh, and it was directed by Blake Lively.
I did not know that, but it was. It does say that on the screen. I do know who Blake Lively is.
Okay,
That's one of the few people that I do know.
That's good.
Yeah, what'd you think about Wedding Crasher Taylor?
I love it. I am a sucker for Wedding Crashers.
All the red symbolism. You got a good gasp in at the dress change. That's pretty solid.
The dress change is definitely a part of who she is as an artist, I think.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Because you see all of the clothes changing at all of her concerts, and, that's just a huge part of who she is.
Yeah, absolutely. Really coming into her own as this new Taylor's version Taylor.
Yes.
So, solid. Love that. Lots of symbolism there. Kim will break that down in her clown corner. But yeah, Taylor's known as being a lyricist. That's her bread and butter. What are some of your favorite lyrics in this one?
Well, the ending. It takes the cake.
Oh my god, she's insane?
Oh my gosh, she's insane.
Literally takes the cake after that
Literally.
music video.
Because I can't think of a better way to wrap a song up in such a sticking your nose at that person kind of way.
Yeah.
That's probably definitely my favorite part of the song. See, I also really like the one where she's talking about, you grew up in a silver spoon gated community, glamorous, shiny, bright Beverly Hills. I was raised on a farm. No, it wasn't a mansion, just living room dancing and kitchen table bills. I feel like that one shows the huge diversity between her and who she's singing about or who she's written it about, how different those lives are and how uncompatible those two lifestyles can be together.
Yeah, and I mean, what imagery that she brings in that verse with the glamorous, shiny, bright. That feels sterile. That feels not lived in. But that living room dance and kitchen table bills, that feels lived in. That feels messy. But we also know Taylor is an unreliable narrator at times, and she absolutely grew up in a mansion. On a farm, but in a mansion. And then in another mansion once they moved off of that,
Absolutely.
but it's a beautiful image. It's really awesome.
Yes.
there's a big stark difference there. But yeah, I adore it. I think that the music video really takes it to another level for me.
Yes.
Every episode we rate each song on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is very bad, 10 is very good, 5 is very mid, to quote Justin. This one, if I had never seen the music video and never done all the deep diving and the crazy Easter egg stuff, I really sat at like a solid 5 for me. Very average, country song, kind of slow. But when I took the time to spend time with it in watching the music video and deep diving into the Easter eggs, it really brings it up to more like a 7 for me. It's like good mid. It's not top of my Taylor Swift charts by any means, but it is towards the top of their album bread.
Absolutely. I would probably rate this one, probably go for about a 7 out of 10 on my list, because I love, now that I've seen the music video, I love it even more. Because I've always loved the imagery, and I love the kind of snarkiness that you read in the song, and it's always just been a really fun one to listen to, and like in the car or on a walk. It's a nice one when you're outside and able to just kind of move freely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. And I like that you mentioned how snarky the lyrics are, because they really, those visuals come across in the music video. Her silly faces that she makes on her own and before she even gets to the kids' table, which is just a mood.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, Lily, thanks for being with us. We'd be happy to have you back on another one. We got plenty of songs to go. Listeners, thanks for having us. Kim, Justin, we'll see you next time. Bye!
Yeah, let's go to ratings. We rate every song on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is very bad, 10 is very good, 5 is very mid. Kimberly, how do you rate this song?
This song is a 5 to me. It is mid.
It's mid, boys.
Yeah, most of what saves it is, like we said, when you really break down the lyrics. It's got good lyrics. It's got funny lyrics. It's got good burns, solid ass burns that I wish she had used in other songs. But when you put it with the music and put it all together, it's just kind of
Okay. I give it a 4 because it is an active, my life is worse if I have to listen to this song. But not by a whole lot.
Yeah.
Because, like we say, the lyrics are cool and fun.
Yeah.
Funny to listen to.
I'm not seeking it out, but I'm gonna, if it plays, then fine.
I think this song is way too long, and I think, like I said, the melody just doesn't ever come together for me. So I think it's a case where I like the idea of it as a song, and it just, I see why it was in the vault, because it never quite materialized in the way I think she wanted it to.
Yeah. I maybe have a couple of songs on red that I would take off and let this song be on there if this is the only song I have to choose from. But when it comes to the other songs in the red vault, it's absolutely not making the original album if I replace something.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that at some point. I don't think I would put it on.
That could be a fun little bonus episode.
Yeah, we'll do that at some point. But in the meantime, if you'd like to tell us how you rate this song, you can do it on Spotify. There's going to be a poll in the episode description. And you can vote on our social media platforms. We are on X, and we are on Threads, and we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok, and we are on YouTube, all at
CBLU_podcast.
That's right. Follow us, vote in the polls, comment if you want. We'll read it on the pod, We're still in that phase, baby, where we don't get a ton of comments, so we can read them.
Yep.
And talk to you directly over the mic.
As long as you don't say anything racist.
As long as you don't say anything racist. In which case, we might just call you out.
For being racist.
We won't read it, but we'll call you out. So-and-so's a bitch. It was racist on our comments.
So far, we have some good friends, Mac and Alan.
That's right.
If Mac is your real name.
Madeline. What song are we going to talk about next week?
Paper Rings.
That's right.
Taking a trip back to Lover.
Paper Rings. Arguably still arguable, I guess. But I wouldn't argue for it. The pop-punkest song of Taylor's discography. I would say it's like third, probably.
Oh, I was going to say, really?
It's in the conversation. It's in the conversation.
I could see how it's in the conversation, but I don't think it's very high up.
No, I think Better Than Revenge is number 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then Story of Us is number 2, and then Paper Rings is 3. But we'll get into that perhaps.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say actually, I might. Yeah, number 1 and number 2 would be an argument, maybe. But anyway, argument. Yeah, a little bit of Joe Alwyn slander coming next week, I'm sure.
Indeed. Thank you all so much for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Pod Gremlin may be here. Thanks for listening to Cowboys Like Us. Follow us on all platforms at CBLU_podcast. You can find us on Instagram, X, the zombie Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. We're now posting our episodes on YouTube. Head over there and like and subscribe. All of these links can be found in our link tree in the episode description. Thanks for supporting the pod. Y'all come back now, you hear?